Have you ever felt like everyone's ahead of you, but like you're stuck while everybody else is winning? See, I know the feeling. And for a long time, I thought I was truly losing at life. But here's the wild truth. I was actually ahead. So let me show you how I can make that happen for you too. What's up? My name is Prince Williams, the real Prince Williams, and I coach leaders and everyday warriors how to master life's toughest pressure points. And today, I'm going to share a story that completely changed my perspective. And it just might do the same for you too. But by the end of the video, you're going to have some moments and you're going to see where you thought you were falling behind, but actually it was probably one of your biggest wins in disguise. See, the real win for me wasn't this sudden burst forward, but the calm strength that I developed in the face of that pressure. And after years of the quiet, unseen internal work, something profound shifted inside of me. And it wasn't sudden. It wasn't some grand announcement, and I wasn't no overnight success. But it was measurable. Instead, the true win began to reveal itself in subtle yet powerful ways as I navigated these challenges. And my first big takeaway is this: that true strength isn't about avoiding pressure. It's about how calmly you can hold space for it. And I started to notice something shift inside of me where others might be failing or becoming overwhelmed when pressure hit. I found myself being able to handle the storms with a surprising amount of calm. And then the second takeaway that I took from this period of time in my life is the depth that you build quietly becomes your superpower. I discovered that I had cultivated a deep well of grit, calm confidence, and inner peace. This wasn't something that I could fake. It was genuinely built inside of me. And so I no longer chased the external validation, and I no longer felt the need to perform. I was simply grounded in who I was, and I was completely operating in a place of genuine strength. And my final takeaway that I got from this period of time is this: that you're always on time for your life. See, I wasn't late to any finish line. I was perfectly on time for my own unique path. And I was finally living in alignment with what my true purpose and what my true self resonated with. So as I began to observe why others were struggling under pressure, I maintained the calm. And I discovered that the internal state of depth and grit and wisdom and peace that I acquired allowed me to move beyond external performance. And I understood that the timing of life is perfect, and it aligned with everything that I resonated with myself. So this realization offers a critical lesson for anyone feeling behind. The progress is often hidden in plain sight. Understanding it changes everything. So my story starts where a season where I genuinely thought that I was losing. And I utterly felt like I was stuck while the world was moving on around me. I remember a time right after I graduated college. I'm seeking work in my profession, and I work as an athletic trainer. So my dream job is to work at the collegiate level or to work with high level athletes, and even possibly at the professional level. And so I was one of only 5 students in my program to graduate and to pass my board exam. So I'm riding high, which left me with a good amount of self-esteem. And I believed wholeheartedly that I was going to be successful. But it didn't quite work out that way. And I had to do a number of things while on the way to getting where I wanted to go. My first job, I thought that I was going to work at the university, and I actually wound up working in a warehouse, in a medical records warehouse at that. And I did that part time while working part time at a gym, and I did that for about a year. And then I transitioned from that. The next year, I worked at a physical therapy clinic. I did that full time, and then I worked part time at the local junior college in sports. But I was mostly on call. And during this particular time, it looked like I finally got my foot in the door and I had the opportunity. I continued to apply everywhere, and I didn't have any opportunities that came up outside of what I was already doing. I was also trying to work some camps, worked at a couple junior colleges, but I eventually had to get a job and really, focus in on providing a life for myself. So I worked security full time while still trying to keep my foot in the door. And as I looked up, 7 years had passed, and I had some relevant experience, but it wasn't truly what I wanted. It wasn't until I took a chance and I told myself, Prince, take a couple steps back. And when I did that, my career, little did I know my career and my life would catapult forward. So I applied at this job at a major university, Power 5 university, and I took it as a full-time intern. I was getting paid very little, but I had a lot of responsibilities. I stayed humbled and I worked hard, and all of that experience from those things, even though they seemed kind of unrelated at the time, it became my biggest superpower because it really taught me the value of perseverance, determination, mindset, and navigating things that seemingly seem like they're not connected. But what that does is that allows you to be able to connect with others at a very deep level. So I did that for a couple years, a number of years. And then after that, that's when my career jumped off because I was getting the experiences and the jobs that weren't open and available to me. Now they're starting to open doors for me. The point of all this is within a very short amount of time that I had worked for this major university with high-level athletes allowed me to walk into a period of time where now I was getting offers at other major universities. I was able to work at the Olympics at the Olympic Training Center. And then I also got a job working with the NFL. And I soon became a leader in my field at a relatively young age. And I was ahead, not behind, with more experiences, sometimes more than my colleagues. But the funny thing is, I thought that graduating college meant instant success, especially in sports. But I faced 7 years of unrelated jobs and stagnated opportunities. I took a couple steps backwards. I took a low-paying internship job, and things that seemed to be unrelated became my superpower. And so it taught me perseverance, deep connection, and ultimately taking my career to the next level. See, what I couldn't see, there was things happening in the background that were creating profound transformations in me that was preparing me for something far greater. Because while it looked like I was losing, I was actually building an invisible fortress inside myself. While it did look like I was losing, I was actually winning in the game. I just couldn't see it. And the harder I tried, the more personal it got for me. I thought I was failing. I thought I was doing something wrong. I thought I wasn't good enough, maybe. I was seeing people around me excel, and they were getting the jobs that I wanted. And if I'm honest, it was quite discouraging at times. I literally felt stuck. Of course, I had people that cared about me say, well, Prince, you're smart. You're a smart guy. Why don't you do something else? Maybe this isn't the path for you. I rejected that. I often resented that sentiment, although it was maybe coming from a place of love. I knew that I had to follow what was in my head and in my heart. See, here's the truth that no one tells you. What is meant for you is meant for you. But you have to decide and own that reality and what that reality looks like. And the path isn't always straight. There was lessons that I needed to learn along the way. And those lessons, I had to make sense of it in the moment. See, Steve Jobs says, quoted, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking back. See, there were so many things that I needed to develop in me to be able to handle the life that I said that I wanted. And that path isn't always easy, but it is always right. So despite the external setbacks, it cultivated a sense of progress. And I had to reject the well-meaning advice to quit. I had to choose to trust my inner conviction and accept the path isn't always straight and lessons unfold over time. And then I recognized that those perceived delays were crucial for developing the necessary qualities to be able to handle the desired future that I said that I wanted. This unseen work really laid the groundwork for. So I'll leave you with this. So if you're feeling like you're behind or you're stuck, remember this, your timeline is unique to you. And what looks like delay often is your deepest development. So true winning isn't about faking it. It's about becoming genuinely powerful from the inside out. So if this video helped you in any way, in any capacity, so you can see that your path isn't always going to be straight and it will clear up and it will lead you to the destination which you're trying to obtain. If all of those things resonated with you, I want you to do one thing for me. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're ready to build a life that truly fits you, not to impress others, but to tell your story. So tell me in the comments what steps you're going to take today to move forward on your genuine, authentic path. And until next time, I'm Prince Williams, the real Prince Williams, and I'll see you next time. Profound shifts that led to moments that I recognized was really true progress.